and welcome back to lesson 4. Today's lesson is going to be, what are you going to do during your self-care routine? So, we found our why. We found the best time that works for us. We put it on our schedule. Now, what are we going to do? So, you have to decide, what do you enjoy doing? What is part of that makes your self-care routine that makes you happy, that will make you feel better about yourself? That could be exercising, meditating, journaling, taking a bubble bath, reading, just taking a nap. Anything that makes you feel good. Maybe you have a hobby that makes you feel really good and you're going to fit that in, because anything that makes you feel better about yourself. It does not always have to be working out, which most people think is what self-care is. It doesn't have to be that. It just has to be something that makes you happy and gives you time to yourself. So, what are you going to do during it? I get up and I work out for half an hour, I meditate for 10 minutes, and then I journal for about 5 minutes, and then I spend the rest of the time working on my blog, because those are all the things that make me happy and make me feel good about myself. So I pick those 4 things and I fit them in. You don't have to have 4 things. You can have 1 thing. You can just say, I am going to read for 15 minutes. That's your self-care. You know, you're relaxing, you're laying down, you're reading a book, which makes you happy. And that's all that matters. If it's something that makes you happy and makes you feel good about yourself, that is all that you need in your self-care routine. So if you're like, well, I don't know what makes me happy. It's been so long since I've done a self-care routine. Make a list. Write down a list. What you enjoy doing. What makes you happy. It could just brain dump everything that you can possibly think of. And if you're still having a little bit of trouble, I will leave a link to a printable I have that gives you ideals for self-care, and it also gives you time frames of how long each one will take about, so that you can fit them in, because you've decided how long you want to spend on it. So now you can decide what you can fit in. Maybe you have an hour, so you're going to read for 15 minutes, work out for 15 minutes, and then meditate for 15 minutes. That's only 45 minutes, but whatever else you want to do for 15 minutes, maybe work on your hobby or something. You can break it up into that. Or you could just do one whole thing for an hour. I'm going to nap for an hour because that makes me feel good. Whatever works for you. Do not look at anybody else's self-care. You can look at some ideas and decide, oh, I really like that. But you do not have to do it the same way that everybody else does. Okay? Just whatever makes you happy. I've said that a gazillion times, but really, it's so important. You have to do what makes you happy. And don't worry, if anybody else thinks it's weird, don't worry about them. You don't even need to tell anybody what you do during your self-care routine, because that is your time to do whatever you feel like doing. So if you do want to share with the group what you do during your self-care routine, comment below. I would love to hear what you guys like to do. I love getting new ideas. Maybe I could pick some up to squeeze into my self-care routine. But let me know. I'd love to hear them, and I will see you tomorrow for the last lesson.